So, can you all hear me? I had it lovingly pointed out to me that I was probably never going to be able to do the 16 steps in a 30-minute meditation, and that maybe I'd want to push it a little bit into the walking meditation. So I'm going to push it probably a little bit into the walking meditation, and if anybody wants to bail, you're welcome. You're welcome to do that. But yeah, I just want to give the steps their due, and we'll walk through them together, okay? And how, practitioners, is mindfulness of breathing in and out of great fruit now and of great benefit when cultivated and made much of? Here, practitioners, having gone to the wilderness, a foot of a tree or an empty building, one sits down with legs crossed and body erect. Establishing mindfulness to the forefront, always attentive, one breathes in with mindfulness and breathes out with mindfulness. So coming into your seated meditation position, whatever feels comfortable. Closing your eyes or opening your eyes. The first instruction the Buddha gives us is breathing in long. One understands, I breathe in long. Breathing out long. One understands, I breathe out long. Breathing in short, one understands, I breathe in short. Breathing out short, one understands, I breathe out short. So right away there's the movement from the external, the physical world, moving towards stillness, to quiet. The attention goes from external to the internal, and alights very gently on the in and out flow of the breath. No need for it to be anything, not trying to make anything happen. Just being curious, watching the process. Allow the attention to land on a very specific anchor point where the breathing is experienced very clearly. Allow the body to continue to settle and come into ever greater stillness. Not by tightening, but by relaxing. And right away there is a sense of joy, the joy of seclusion, a moving away from, secluding away from the habit of being entangled in the conceptual mind. One trains experiencing the whole body, I shall breathe in. One trains experiencing the whole body, I shall breathe out. Widening the aperture of the attention now to include the physical sensations in the body. The breath is still foregrounded. It's our metronome, our container. And now there's the sense of the entire body being enfolded into the breath, the experience of the breath. And again, on whatever level, however subtly, just notice this quality of unification, of concentration. Even if the mind is still nattering away as it does, there's this burgeoning sense of something deeper, something more unified. And notice too, its pleasurable nature. It just feels really good. One trains calming bodily activity, I shall breathe in. One trains calming bodily activity, I shall breathe out. Training the attention on the breath in a very specific, subtle place, allowing the body to come into stillness and unify with the breath. The formations of the body, the activity of the body calms. We don't have to make it happen. It happens of its own. And now here there's a move of the attention from the physical sensations of the body to the feeling tones. So the breath is going to be moved to the periphery as feeling is now privileged. One trains experiencing joy, I shall breathe in. One trains experiencing joy, I shall breathe out. The present moment, when we leave it alone, reveals itself to be moving. The present is always in a constant state of flow, of becoming and cessation. Becoming, cessation. Rather than focusing on the becoming or the sensation, just notice the movement, the feeling of the movement. Everything is moving. And that movement has a light, joyful, bright quality. And as always, look to your experience. This might be more of an idea now than a very clear experience, but again, just be curious. Look for it and you'll see it. This is samadhi. This is the joyful pleasure of tranquility and rapture. There is a momentum to this process. The more unified, the more concentrated and quiet the mind becomes, the more it starts to take on a life of its own. The harder it becomes to sort of move off of it and pick up those patterns of habit. The mind is still there, nattering away, but there's this other sense, this other presence. One trains experiencing happiness or ease of heart, I shall breathe in. One trains experiencing ease of heart, I shall breathe out. The bright river of joy, the flow of movement itself, the flow of impermanence, gives way into a deeper, more stable calm and tranquility. Feel the mind dropping like a stone into this vast lake. Again, notice the deep sense of contentment. That right now in this place there's a sense of not needing anything to be different, not wanting for anything. This moment, just as it is enough. This life, just as it is enough. In these stages, it's very easy for doubt to creep in. We're not feeling it, it's too subtle, and it starts the narrative of I can't do this, I don't deserve it, all of that stuff, right? We're very confident in our inabilities, in what we lack. That committee in our mind is just so ready to criticize and judge. The invitation here is to look to these other qualities. And it's okay to use your imagination. What would this be like? The more we look for and pay attention to qualities that are beautiful, that are tranquil, that are really quite healing, the more they grow. Look to your mind, and your mind looks to you. It's very beautiful. One trains experiencing mental activity, I shall breathe in. One trains experiencing mental activity, I shall breathe out. From this deep, gathered, tranquil place, this vast lake, we can now turn the attention to the activity of the mind without risking getting swept up by it. Now, of course, that may happen, so just come back. Form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness itself, like bubbles in a glass of sparkling water, arising, popping, arising, popping. We watch the activity of the mind, the way a loving parent watches children at play in a park. No need to move to them, no need to get involved. All the drama, the mishigas. But a feeling of loving inclusivity for all of it. One trains calming mental activity, I shall breathe in. One trains calming mental activity, I shall breathe out. Observe mental activity without getting entangled, and it starts to quiet and calm. We don't feed it. We don't need to change it. Enter into a debate with it. It's just thinking. And you can really start to experience the distance between thinking and any sense of self. They're really not our thoughts. They're just thoughts. And as we tolerate them from that place of calm and ease, dispassion, they quiet. They calm. The parent gathers the children from the playground, brings them inside for a nap. The children settle down, dim the lights, put down some blankets. Incline the mind towards calm and quiet. And now we move into the third tetrad, the third group of 4, where we investigate the space of the mind itself. One trains experiencing the mind, I shall breathe in. One trains experiencing the mind, I shall breathe out. So we witness the activity of the mind, but now it's like we're shifting our gaze just to the side and looking at the mind itself, the space of the mind where experience is being known. Can we privilege the space of the mind over the activity of the mind? Notice the mirror-like quality of the mind. It is aware of whatever is put in front of it. It just reflects it. But it isn't colored or changed by what it experiences. Attune your attention to hearing. You hear the sounds of the room, the sounds of my voice, the birds outside. Awareness is here. We can't shut it off. It's just here. Knowing what is here to be known, but not being changed by it. The space of the knowing mind, awareness, consciousness, it's impersonal. One trains, pleasing the mind, I shall breathe in. One trains, pleasing the mind, I shall breathe out. The space of the knowing mind. And really look for yourself, is beautiful. What do you see? The mind, as we direct our attention to the mind, responds to being witnessed. It's a very deep, healing encounter or relationship. Our brain, our nervous system is saying, this feels really good. The mind itself is gladdened by being witnessed. Notice for yourself the sort of distance from the conceptual mind. You're not thinking your way through this. You're not figuring anything out. You're intuiting something. You are relying on felt sense, a non-analytical source of information. One trains concentrating the mind, I shall breathe in. One trains concentrating the mind, I shall breathe out. The beauty of the mind, the gladdening of the mind passes away. Not by us doing anything, but by virtue of staying with it. And the mind becomes very clear. it becomes further gathered. It becomes unified. I'm using these different words to try to alight on something that might match your experience. And again, it may be more relying on imagination. What might this mean? But again, there's typically a sense of momentum and really kind of a great power. The mind is onto it. It's onto what it means to see clearly and comprehend correctly. There is a sense of being in right relationship to reality that is very different than the typical haranguing of the conceptual mind. There's wisdom here, direct knowing, and a diminishing of the sense of self, that this is mine, or I have to make this happen, I have to do something, I'm the one driving this. No, it's just unfolding. Unfolding in awareness. One trains liberating the mind, I shall breathe in. One trains liberating the mind, I shall breathe out. It says liberating or releasing the mind. It's releasing the conceptual mind. Releasing any sense of ownership. I, me, mine. So we practice sustained present moment awareness. We practice sustaining our awareness of the space of the knowing mind. This is the muscle that's being strengthened. The capacity to stay in the space of the knowing mind without defaulting to the conceptual mind. We release again and again. We let go of self, let go of desire. There's nothing we need here. There's nothing we lack. This exists in the midst of our chaotic, busy lives and chaotic, busy world. The last group of 4, the last tetrad, is on the dhammas. When self is removed, the mind engages in this lawful, conditional process of unfolding towards liberation. One trains observing impermanence, I shall breathe in. One trains observing impermanence, I shall breathe out. notice that absolutely everything is changing. In this place, this is impermanence that we've all been looking at for maybe years and years in our practice. But here, there's a different knowing. It's like, oh wow, everything, absolutely everything is flowing. There's nobody here to stop it. There's nobody here to name it, try to control it, make it do something, be someone to do something. One trains observing dispassion, I shall breathe in. One trains observing dispassion, I shall breathe out. Again, from this vantage, from this quiet, everything the mind's eye perceives is seen as impermanent. Unsatisfying. And not belonging to me. Everything that arises in the field of knowing is impermanent. It is unsatisfying. It cannot give us lasting happiness. Doesn't mean things aren't to be enjoyed. Of course they are. It's just don't expect them to be able to do what they inherently cannot do, cannot provide. All joyful experiences pass. All sorrowful experiences pass. Nothing that happens, nothing that is known belongs to us. There is no self in it. One trains observing cessation, I shall breathe in. One trains observing cessation, I shall breathe out. As we grow in our insight into the impermanent nature of all things, as that awareness becomes more subtle, more pervasive, we privilege cessation. We start to pay attention to the way things end, big and small. This talk I'm giving will end. This meditation will end. The thought you're thinking right now will end. And we start paying attention to everything is passing. We can pay equal attention to things that are arising, things that are being born. Oh, here's a new thought. Here's the next activity. Here's my desire for whatever comes next. But as we discussed in the talk, we are so conditioned to focus on that it's by bringing our attention to cessation that we start to gain real insight into the truly groundless nature of reality. Absolutely everything is on fire. There is nothing whatsoever to hold on to. There is nothing that we possess or can be possessed except our actions and the consequence of our actions. Lastly, one trains observing, letting go, or relinquishment, I shall breathe in. Observing, letting go, I shall breathe out. This is the complete and utter surrender of there being a someone doing a something. This is Nibbana, consciousness, witnessing consciousness, and again, we may not be able to attain that here today, right now, but you can imagine it. That field of awareness, that field of knowing, that is awake and alive and aware, does not need a self to know it. The Buddha concludes, practitioners, this is how cultivating and making much of mindfulness of breathing in and breathing out is of great fruit and great benefit.